Welcome back, everybody. So we finally got the full review. I'm finally able to give you guys my thoughts on the fragrance by Parfums De Marly. This is Haltane, or Haltane, however you like to pronounce it. I'm gonna call it Haltane. I spent the past like 2 to 3 days with this fragrance, so I believe I've gotten a good handle of what I enjoy. But first, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that red button that says subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. It'll help the channel grow. Like this video, just let me know how much you appreciate it. And if you don't mind, getting those little notifications on your phone or your device, go ahead and hit that bell icon. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into this review. See you soon. All right, first, so I want to go ahead and talk about the perfumer or the brand Parfums De Marly really quick. So Parfums De Marly is a brand that was created in like 2009 by his name is Julian Spritzer. He created the brand. He was very interested in perfumery growing up and history apparently. So he based it on a history or a period back in the 18th century, and it was based on a chateau called Chateau de Marly, and this was a residence by King Louis the 15th. That was his residence, and he also really enjoyed racehorses. Thus, you have the racehorses on the bottle of their fragrances. So that's just a brief little history of what Julian's about. He also owns Initio Parfums, so it's just not Parfums De Marly. He also owns the sister company. I'm not sure if there's like a parent company, but I'm gonna call it sister or brother company. Parfums De Marly and Initio. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the notes. So Haltane has bergamot in the top notes, bergamot, lavender, clary sage. And in the heart notes, there's saffron, cedarwood, praline, and oud wood. In the base notes, you get patchouli, vetiver, musk, leather, and natural agarwood. He states that it's best time to wear is all day long, morning to evening. Before we go ahead and get started on what I get from the fragrance, let me go ahead and give you a spray, and I'll go ahead and show you the bottle as well. So here's the bottle. So I was going to actually leave this bottle in the base that it comes in. It's really nice, has like this little velvet feeling, but it looks awkward on my shelf because it's like higher than the rest of the my bottle. So what I'm gonna do, I guess you can say it's superior to the other bottles, however you want to look at it, but I'm gonna keep it without the base. But that's it. Haltane, what do I get with Haltane? I get notes of like a freshness. So there's the herbal note that I mentioned earlier. There's sage. I do not get any lavender or bergamot. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. On my skin, those notes don't come through. I get the sage. It kind of gives you like a fresh, like herbalish type of vibe. There's a lot of woods. You get the cedar wood. You get the oud. It's not a dirty oud or animalic oud. It's a kind of like a softer oud. It's not like unbearable or it's a tasteful oud. There's leather in the fragrance in the opening, but it's very in the background. It's not a prominent leather note, at least not on my skin. There's also saffron in the fragrance. When it opens up, it's not super strong when it opens up. For me, I get the sage when it first opens. You get the oud, the cedarwood, and the saffron. There's also mention of vetiver. I can possibly see that because there's something dry about this fragrance. However, in the dry down, there's the saffron and that what's that other note? Praline. That praline kind of comes through a little bit, and not a little bit actually. It comes through a lot. It's not overbearing. It's not overly sweet or anything like that. But the praline comes through and gives a nice sweetness to the fragrance. It makes it a lot more wearable, and I enjoy it. This fragrance is really nice. Quick question though: have you guys ever had any praline in your life. My mom used to actually get us praline all the time growing up. Ours, you know, they usually comes in like peanuts or sometimes pecans. We had a lot of the peanut versions, and we did sort of enjoy growing up, but you know, it's kind of like an old school type of candy if you're not too familiar with praline. All right, so next let's go ahead and get into longevity. Longevity, you get 8+ hours. 8+ hours on skin, and if you spray it on your clothes, it's gonna last even longer. So it lasts for a while, and this fragrance does love heat. It loves heat. Anytime you kind of go outside or you're starting to getting some type of body movement, the fragrance, you know, it wakens up. So it enjoys heat. Next, let's go ahead and talk about projection. Projection is beast mode. For that first hour, it fills a room. Now, again, like I mentioned, you're like, oh man, an oud fragrance that fills the room, I don't want that. Well, again, this oud fragrance is a softer oud. It's a pleasant oud. It's not gonna choke anybody out if you're in a room. Now, after that hour, it starts to slowly, you know, regress a little bit. However, you still get some projection. It still projects for about, I want to say about 4 hours, and that's pretty solid in my book. If you get 4 hours of projection, you know, it's not like, you know, room filling projection at that point, but you know, 4 hours of projection where you're smelling the fragrance without having to put your, you know, arm up to your nose. That's pretty good. And just to let you know where I sprayed both sides of my neck, back of my neck, on my chest twice, and that was about 5 sprays. However, you know, you can spray it as much as you want. You know, that's your choice. I don't think even if you spray it a lot, you're gonna, you know, choke anybody out. However, I have not tested that, so you'll just have to let me know. So like I mentioned, it starts to recede a little bit after that 4 to 5 hours mark. Fragrances start to become a skin scent. But again, like I said, the fragrance does love heat, and you start heating that fragrance up again, you're gonna start smelling it. It's weird. I mean, not all fragrances are like that. They, you know, enjoy heat, but this one is one of them. Next, let's talk about character. I personally really enjoy this fragrance. This fragrance speaks to me. You saw my first impressions. If you didn't, go ahead and go watch it. My first impressions video, I really enjoyed. This was a love at first sniff. Now, that doesn't mean it has character though, but it does have character. Let's go ahead and explain that. There aren't a ton of transitions or transformation in the fragrance. There's an opening and a dry down basically. However, I do love the scent because it has a depth behind the sweetness, and the sweetness is not, you know, too forward. It's like a nice balanced sweetness with that saffron and that praline. Those sweeter notes does just enough to tone down, I believe, the oud and anything else that may have been stronger was in the note profile. Appeal, I don't find anything offensive about the fragrance. I believe this can appeal to most people, to be honest with you. I believe you can wear this in all the seasons personally. I believe you can wear this in summer, spring, fall, and winter. It's one of those fragrances. To me, I will definitely wear this all year long. I believe you could probably say this fragrance is best for this, you know, spring, fall, and winter. And that's, you know, but I definitely feel like you can also pull this off in the summertime. And that leads me to talk about the occasion. You can wear this fragrance to, you know, work. You can wear it to dates. You can wear it dressed up, dressed down. Wear it as much as you want, man. This fragrance is. This is one of the loves for me. All right, so next I'm gonna go ahead and talk about value. This fragrance, it was released at Harrods when it first came out. Released at Harrods. The fragrance it was a special release. It was a exclusive release, and that fragrance it released at around $350 or more, possibly. I think it was more than that. Actually, right now at Parfums De Marly website, it's retailing at $395. So I'm not even sure exactly what it released at Harrods. So it was very expensive when it first released. It's still currently expensive if you buy it from their website. I believe it's overpriced at that price. For me, I believe $300 is my personal threshold for a fragrance. I rarely ever spend that much. However, you also got to look at what Parfums De Marly gives you. Their fragrances are 4.2 ounces. So you're getting about 25% extra juice. And so thinking about it, you know, it's a niche brand, and it comes with a, you know, niche brands comes with higher price tags. So only buy this fragrance if you can get it discounted. However, if your pockets are deep, do what you want to do. So similarity, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that next. So a lot of people like to say this is very similar to Oud for Greatness. I sampled that one. I ran out of the sample a couple of months ago. I've been meaning to buy that fragrance. I really enjoyed it. So I don't have, I can't spray it, do a comparison between the both of them. I do remember the smell of it, and it is similar. However, this one, like I mentioned earlier, has some sweeter notes in it. That saffron is a little bit more forward, and that praline note makes this, I wouldn't say much more different, but different enough. So if you have Oud for Greatness and Haltane, I could say there's room enough for both on your shelf. Overall, I love this scent. You saw that in my first impressions video. I have no faults in this fragrance. The performance is very respectable. But when you're the owner of a brand, he has both. Like I mentioned earlier, he owns both Initio and Parfums De Marly. And when you're the owner, you can do whatever you want. Change a couple of notes here and you got a different fragrance. You cannot say he cloned his own fragrances. You can say it's very similar to other fragrances such as Oud for Greatness, as I mentioned earlier. Those are his brands. So living in Florida, for me, having a fragrance that I can wear in summertime that's different than some of the fresh fragrances that are like citrusy, it's really, really nice. And so for all of those reasons, I'm gonna give this fragrance a 8.5 out of 10. Go ahead and sample it. Let me know how you feel. I'm going to be rocking and vibing with this one all year long. So again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to end the video here. I appreciate you stopping by again. I'll see you later. Au revoir.